Hello and welcome to the Franchise Marketing Show. The video or the podcast you're about to watch or listen to was recorded at the British and International Franchise Exhibition at Olympia. It was a very busy event, so there was a little bit of background noise, so it wasn't filmed in a recording studio or anything like that, but it is a really interesting conversation. Hope you enjoy it. Right, hello, welcome to the Franchise Marketing Show. I'm joined by Lee Parry from Dyno Rod. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning.
How are you enjoying the exhibition so far?
Yeah, it's been a good day actually. Yeah, it's good conversations, good people around. Nice to talk to other franchisors and just see how they do things. So a bit of sharing how we do things across the industry. But some of the conversations we had have been great, and you know that's what it's all about really. It's about getting our brand Dyno Rod out there. You know, we had a good, strong, trusted, reputable brand. So yeah, really good.
Dyno Rod are always at these kind of things as well. I always see the van at these exhibitions.
Yeah, our van is quite unique, I guess. It's got that prominent colour. It's in your face, but it's quite a nice van as well. To be honest, I'm quite proud of it. So, you know, you see a Dyno Rod van driving down the road, and my nephews go, "Oh, that's my Uncle Lee's vans," and they're not my vans, obviously. But.
So tell me about the franchise and how you came to be involved in it.
Dyno Rod, as you know, was purchased by British Gas Centrica in 2004. I've been in British Gas a long time. I've been in Dyno Rod the last 4 years, and I have to say I've absolutely loved it, 100%. It's something, franchising is, everybody talks about it, right? It's a cliche, it's a people business, but it is very much about people, and that's what motivates me in the morning, if I'm being honest. You know, getting up and just living and breathing the Dyno Rod brand, living and breathing franchising. It's you have to throw yourself into it 100%, and that's why franchising is a growing industry, to be honest. So.
Yeah. In terms of your franchisees, what's the typical background of a franchisee look like? What kind of experience have they had?
It varies, if I'm being honest. Yeah, we got 40 franchisees up and down the country. We cover the entire UK. Some have got plumbing and drainage background. Some are generational, so mum or dad has passed the business down, and some no plumbing, no drainage industry or experience, but they've got business experience and bring that sort of commercial acumen, leadership. Want to drive some growth in their area, so it's a mix, and that's quite nice. You don't want to clone people. You want a nice mix that can bounce ideas off each other.
And Dyno Rod's one of those brands where before I knew about franchising, I'd heard of Dyno Rod. So does that help attract franchises? That it's a recognised brand?
I think that helps in any industry, to be honest. And you know, we're 61 years now, and it being reputable, trusted, longevity, I think that does help, but again, as I said earlier, it has to be right for you as well, in terms of your investment. It has to work for you, not just because Dyno Rod's been around for 61 years doesn't mean it's going to work for an individual. You have to make it work as well. So
yeah, for a franchisee, what does a typical day look like?
A typical day, you know, these are managed businesses. You've got our franchisees range in size and scale, so our smallest franchisees are probably 10 people in the business, but then our other end of the scale, we've got franchisees with 150 people in the business, so it's very much working on the business, leading people, motivating people, and getting people to buy into what you want to do as a franchisee that supports the Dyno Rod brand. But in terms of a day-to-day, it's very much, it's quite a hands-on business, I would say, from a customer service perspective.
Yeah, that's interesting. So do they get from setting up, how quickly do they get established? So do they sort of start off just by themselves, or is it quite quickly they build a team around them?
I think Dyno Rod has been on an evolution over time. Some of our franchisees started with 4 guys in a van, whereas now they've got 24 vans out on the road. So they grow over time. And I guess the way I would describe it is it's about you invest, you mobilise, you stabilise, and then you start to grow over time. Whereas if you grow too quickly, sometimes that can be a hindrance, not just to the franchisee, but to the franchisor. And it's an evolution over time is probably the way I would describe it. And lots of our franchisees have definitely evolved over time. Started very small, but grown.
Is that always an aim for them to grow, or do they want to get to like, some want to get to a certain size and they're happy with that, or do all of them feel like, oh, I want to keep growing it and get to a good point?
I think that's a good question. I think it's a yes and a no answer. I think some get to a point and that's it, and that's fine. Don't get me wrong. Some have got bigger aspirations than others, but that's life, right? You know, some people want to be 15 engineers strong. Some people want to be 150 engineers strong. There's no right or wrong answer, but however big or small you are, if it's working for you as the franchisee, working for franchisor, and working for customers and driving growth in the territory that you have, then that's the perfect outcome.
I think I have an opinion on this next question. I think I've already sort of alluded to it, but what do you think sets Dyno Rod apart from like similar franchises?
For me, it's the longevity. 61 years, trusted, reputable brand. It's an industry that I'm struggling to see in the future how things like technology can really change
point,
it.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not something that you can AI or do whatever. It's if you've got a leak, somebody needs to come out and fix the leak.
Yeah.
If you've got a blocked drain, somebody needs to come out and fix the blocked drain. So for me, that's probably the unique element to it.
That's interesting. There's not really like any technology you think that's going to come along and like change it. Like AI is, I can't really see. I agree. I can't really see how that's going to change.
Yeah, I'm struggling to see how it's going to change the plumbing and drainage.
Yeah. It might change things like in the background and like speed things up. Like
maybe how you interact to
yeah.
book an appointment, but in terms of the actual fixing the problem itself, that is still going to require that human element, and I think that's a powerful thing. An orange van turning up, a lady or a gent in a uniform, delivering good service, and people go, yeah. And I was talking to somebody yesterday. I was bizarrely queuing for a bit of lunch yesterday, and there was two ladies in front of me, and Dyno Rod. I've had Dyno Rod out, and I went, oh, have you really? And she went, you were a lifesaver, because I did not know what to do, and it was quite a proud moment. Just general chat in a queue for a sandwich at lunchtime,
and it is one of those brands that people like recognise. Like there's a van on my road that's a Dyno Rod van. Like, so I don't know if he's a franchisee or like.
He will be. Yeah, we've got 1,100 vans across the UK, so you will see them. Like you said earlier, it's pretty prominent in terms of its colour and its appearance, which is great.
And talking about AI and technology and stuff like that, like what are the plans for the future as a franchise? Do you have ideas of what you want to do or change anything, or is it sort of continuing what you're doing? And
I think we've always got to be aware of evolution, whether it's technology in terms of how we interact with customers, or whether it's technology in terms of how we fix for customers. So that's always got to be at the forefront of our mind. But sometimes I think it's proceed with caution, I would say, in this space. I think in the drains industry, there's lots of technology in terms of digging and cutting underground, and that's something we have to be cognizant of and ensuring our franchisees are up to speed with that kind of stuff, and that's the role we play as a franchisor in sort of exploring the industry to understand what's new in the market in terms of plumbing inside the house, dripping taps, block toilets. Then I'm not quite sure there's any technology that can fix that, to be honest, but I'm not.
Unless like toilet technology changes.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
So I've got some quick fire questions for you now. It's only 4 of them. So if you were going to become a franchisee of any other brand, who would it be and why?
That's a very good question. Obviously I can't say Dyno Rod because that would be totally wrong with me. I think I would probably go McDonald's, if I'm being honest.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I think, reputable brand, trusted, growing all the time, and they seem to have it nailed, if I'm being honest. They set up a new franchise, set up a new sort of unit, and do you ever see an empty McDonald's?
No, never, yeah. So. Is there anyone in the sector that you admire and why?
In the franchising sector or the plumbing and
Just
drainage
franchising,
sector?
yeah.
Just franchising. I have to say I've got a lot of admiration for the guys in the care
Okay, yeah.
element
That
of
comes up a lot,
franchising. You know, they do a fantastic job, and I have to say, at some point in our lives, touch wood, fingers crossed and all that, you won't need it, but we've all experienced it, you know, and I do have a lot of time for those guys. It's just the emotional attachment to the care for me. That,
I've worked for like a number of care franchises doing videos and stuff,
yeah,
and like, I'm always surprised how nice everyone is.
yeah.
Like you go along and it's just like they are so nice. I don't think I could be that nice. So it's genuine.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just so
100%,
that everyone's lovely. Everyone involved in all of it, like
Yeah.
top to bottom, are lovely. What do you most enjoy about being part of the franchise community?
I think events like today, events like the NSC, NEC, just meeting people and sometimes just understanding how they overcome challenges, how they sort of engage with their franchisees, and it's that learning piece. And it is one big family, franchising. It is it's quite unique, but it's unique in a good way.
It's nice walking around the show, like as an exhibitor here, and it's just people like know who you are, and they're like, "Oh, you're right, Mark," and like
Yeah.
chat to you.
Yeah.
And, like, I may have only seen them at other shows, but you just get chatting to people. And you know
Yeah,
people.
that is quite unique. You might, like you say, you might only see them twice a year
Yeah.
at events like this. But it's like, oh, how are you doing, Lee? Or how are you doing, Mark? Or
And like you had in the queue yesterday, where they turn around and
Yeah.
it's total strangers, but they recognise the brand.
yeah.
So it's just nice. Yeah. Final question: what one thing could we as a sector do to improve the awareness of franchising?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think it's appealing to a broad demographic. I think it's quite. If you look around the franchising industry, and that's just my experience, it's of a certain age and demographic, but I think it's how do we attract the younger profile to come into franchising earlier in their lives and in their career. I think that's probably something that we have to look at. Because just from a Dyno Rod perspective, our age profile in Dyno as franchisees is probably of that over 40s.
Yeah.
Why don't people under 40 want to become franchisees, or more of them, should I say? So yeah, that would probably be the one thing for me, is how do we make a compelling story and a reason for a 25-year-old to become a franchisee.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.